Tell me, though, what's his technique? That last strike, it seems invincible.
Hello and welcome to Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist podcast. My name is Connor McKenna.
I'm Rebecca Potts.
And we're here to do Deadpool Team Up, issue 886. So, sorry, you were going to say something?
No. I don't know what I was going to say. I just one of several Deadpool team ups.
Yeah. There's a lot of Deadpool team ups. But before we dig into it, I'm just going to thank our patrons, Kevin, Carl, and Ray. You guys are awesome, and I will thank my friend Bliss as well, who made a very generous one-time donation. Hopefully, he'll get his artwork soon. So yeah. But Deadpool team up. I came across this when I was still like a huge Deadpool fan.
Right.
And I remember this was notable because this was during like the kind of Daniel Way era of Deadpool where he really turned into just like a clown character and nothing else.
Yeah.
But I remember this issue was kind of notable because there was a bit more to him in this issue than usual for the time.
And also, I mean, I have to say, like, when I say one of a number, I really like, I think, every Deadpool team up with Iron Fist.
Yeah, they're all really good.
They play off each other quite well, and in all of those, they don't really have Danny being quippy, which is nice.
Yeah, well, I guess because he gets
Danny
in a
playing
couple
the
of
digs
straight
in this
man.
one, which are two of my favourite.
Yeah.
Of their interactions, but I guess all you need to know going into this is that Deadpool always takes the piss out of Danny's outfit.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, they're a good pair because they're also both martial arts heroes as well. So there's a kind of fun dynamic there. And I was also a big Iron Fist fan, obviously, at the time as well, but I was actually reading it more for Deadpool. Well, actually, so I found this because I was very annoyed with the current state of Deadpool until Jerry Dugan ended up saving him. Like, literally saving Deadpool.
Literally, yeah. I mean, he's absolutely the person that brought me to Deadpool.
Yeah.
It was the first time I read full runs of Deadpool, and rather than sort of these one-offs, and I read Gail Simone's Agent X, and then went straight into the Duggan when somebody said, start with the Dead Presidents run.
Yeah.
And then I became a Deadpool subscriber. Until he was off the title. Yeah.
It gave Deadpool his depth back.
He gave Deadpool, he gave him some seriousness. He gave him more reasons to be fighting. He gave him some fantastic team ups with Cap and Wolverine.
Yeah.
He actually made him a really. He made me love Deadpool in a way that I don't know if anyone has done since or after, except for the occasional these little one-offs, which I read. I did a chronological read of Iron Fist, so that's when I came upon this. I didn't know, like before, I just read sort of Power Man and Iron Fist, Immortal Iron Fist, and so sometime after Immortal Iron Fist, I was like, oh, I'll go back and read everything.
Yeah.
And that's when I found sort of these little gems.
Yeah, I picked this up because it had Iron Fist in it. Because I read some Deadpool team up, but I'm like, oh, Deadpool with Iron Fist. I mean, I've got to read it, right? So
yeah.
And I was, as I said, I was pleasantly surprised because it was an anomaly for that era of Deadpool. Like I think common from the Deadpool diehards I've talked to. I'm not a Deadpool diehard anymore, but I used to be. Dugan's run is one of the best runs outside of Joe Kelly's run. I don't know if you've read Joe Kelly's run.
I've read bits of it. I've just not read it entirely. Like Duggan's is the only full run I've managed.
Yeah, it's considered like the golden staple. I recommend it. It gets very dark though.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it makes Deadpool very sympathetic, but then it turns out he's like he is a really horrible person, and I don't know, it gets all messed up. And I find it funny that the exact same creative team went on to do Superman, because like it's just so different.
Maybe they just needed a massive change.
Yeah, but so I guess so. This was written by an Aussie, Shane McCarthy. He hasn't done much. He did like a little bit of Batman in DC. He's just done odds and ends here and there. And I remember, I haven't read the interview recently, but I do remember the interview I read when this was coming out, that he got to choose who Deadpool would team up with.
Oh, nice.
And he said, like, Iron Fist was his first choice, no hesitation. Because he loved the Immortal Iron Fist run. As many of us do.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great run.
I'm actually going to read my omnibus and then the hardcovers for the rest of the run soon, because it's been ages since I've read it. And I'm not going to wait till we get up to it on the podcast, because that's ages away. Because that's what I was originally doing, but now I'm just going to read it.
Yeah, I think by the time we get to it on the podcast, you won't mind reading it again.
Yeah, I mean, I read Power Man and Iron Fist. I think the first epic before we started covering Power Man and Iron Fist, and that was like my second read of that run. So
yeah,
you know, but the cover's cool. It's just this kind of goofy, you know, what you'd expect, I guess. Deadpool intruding on the hero's usual setting with some goofy gag.
Yeah,
he's doing the Karate Kid crane kick in the background, wearing like a
which is cute.
Yeah, wearing like the big, elderly Asian mustache. You see all the kung fu masters in those old movies. It's a nice cover. I guess I just like the setting. It looks pretty.
It's a cute cover. It's a very colourful cover.
Yeah, the issue's not like the cover at all. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The setting's like all snow and stuff. So.
Yeah. And Danny's in his green suit. So.
Yes. Yeah. Not collar though. His green.
Not the collar, yeah. I like this one.
I'm just going to get the wiki page up, just so I can see who did the cover, because the cover artist is different
it's
to
Humberto Ramos.
Okay.
And Edgar Delgado.
Oh, yep. Yeah, it's right there. Cool. The writer is Shane McCarthy, the penciler and inker is Nick Trigotta, the colorist is Brad Simpson, the letterer is Jeff Eckleberry, and the editor is Sebastian Gerner.
All very pronounceable for a change. Hooray!
I should probably actually explain why we're randomly doing this issue as opposed to continue. So Carl's not here, obviously. His drawling accent is absent. So next time the three of us are free, we're doing Power Man and Iron Fist 74. And then after that, we'll be doing Power Man and Iron Fist 75, and we'll also be joined by Omar for that, which will be good. And then we're going to move on to the 90s Heroes for Hire series, which takes place after Daniel's resurrection. And don't worry, we'll explain what happens in between Power Man and Iron Fist and that.
Yeah.
Because it's...
So you don't have to read it.
It's surprisingly easy to explain.
Yes.
Considering how convoluted it is.
Yeah.
But anyway. So, yeah. We open in... Do we ever find out which mountains they're in?
No, I don't think so. I don't think they mention it, but it's very reminiscent of the start of Iron Fist.
Yeah, it's very much like the Himalayas.
Yeah.
So, we have there's a running gag in this where everyone mistakes him for Spider-Man, Deadpool.
Yeah.
And Deadpool keeps, mentioning, he's going to karate everyone, which I'm sure is a little joke since... It's, Iron Fist is considered kung fu, but Iron Fist does know karate, so, so he's fighting a bunch of goons, and the whole thing is we get a flashback. Well, if you ever want to point out anything, feel free if I skip past it.
Oh, yeah, I will do. Yeah,
cool.
It's a big fight goon flashback, yeah.
Yeah, actually, I did notice...
Deadpool in his little boxer shorts and scarred legs.
Yeah. I actually didn't notice in the first page that the stronghold is down the bottom.
Yeah, I just noticed that now. I didn't
Yeah.
notice it the first time. So there's obviously, yeah, that's important that there's an overhang onto the where he's going.
Yeah. So yeah, he's been hired essentially to kill Gingo. Probably not the right pronunciation.
Yeah,
but
that one I've no idea how we pronounce. So
we're just going to roll with that.
Yeah, apparently he's odd and smells of cheese though, so I'm all for killing him.
Yes. And they're questioning Deadpool's demeanor, because obviously he's a famous killer for hire, but he's acting like, well, I don't know, Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone to
turns
the
up with no
meeting in
pants
like
on.
his boxers and yeah.
But yeah, they need
His boxers, a mask, and a pajama top almost. It looks like it could be a suit top, but pajama top either one.
yeah. So yeah, they need him to kill this dude. So
And they offer him 20 million.
yeah,
Just...
it's a father and son that wants him to kill him. They'll pop up later. So flashback's over, back to the action, as the box says, and we get Iron Fist.
Yeah.
The fight scenes are pretty good in this, which you
The
want
fight
them
scenes
to
are
be.
very good in this, as are the sort of sound effects.
Yeah.
Are drawn very nicely. So all hail the letterer for that.
Yeah, and we get Iron Fist wearing his as we said, his green outfit and his kung fu boots, I guess.
Yeah, they've got little grips on them.
Yeah, and there's got
Obviously for the snow.
yeah, and there's two things for his toes.
His toes, yeah.
So
There's a little slight on his slippers there, which Deadpool's always fond of calling them ballet slippers. So.
yeah, he always makes fun of the slippers.
Always.
If
Which
they
is
weren't,
kind of fair, because when you're walking around New York, they're perhaps not the most
if they weren't
usual
yellow,
footwear.
but they
Maybe, but I think, to be fair, Luke also mocks them occasionally, so.
I mean, he's wearing
But he
the
just
Australian
mocks
colours actually.
Yeah, he is. Maybe that's why he wanted Iron Fist.
For those who don't know, Australian colours are not red, white, and blue. They are green and gold.
Does anyone not know that? You should all watch some more cricket and rugby if you don't know that.
I'm sure plenty of people don't know that. I'm guessing
That's
every
true.
American. I'm not sure though.
To be fair, we are a unique country set to know that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they've kind of just
and
crossed
then you get
paths here.
Danny's first little, oh, that's right, I forgot you're annoying.
Yeah, I think
One of my favourite little.
I think they've only met once before this. I might be missing something, but it was in Cable and Deadpool.
Yeah. Maybe I don't. When do you have the Luke and Danny one which flashes back to the 60s?
That's Dugan's run, his first run.
Oh
Dugan
right,
and
okay, so that is
Poston's.
later, yeah.
But there was actually a really good gag in Cable and Deadpool, because that was around the time that Danny dressed up as Daredevil.
Right.
And they fight, I believe, when Danny's Daredevil and when Danny's Iron Fist. So there's a move Iron Fist does where he grabs Deadpool's foot.
Mhm.
And when he does it the second time,
yeah,
Deadpool's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he recognised it, and that's one of the cool things. It's like you're not expecting that Deadpool would be that on the ball.
Yeah,
but he's one of the only people who actually twigs.
He's very on the ball.
Because he knows fighting styles. Like the one thing he knows.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I really liked about Deadpool, is that he would mask how competent he was by acting, really stupid / being really stupid. Like he's taken out Taskmaster with ease. Like he's taken out Taskmaster with both his hands and legs tied behind his back, and that's how good he is.
Yeah.
Taskmaster took on the Avengers, so but no one takes him seriously, which is part
how
of
he gets through. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And even before he became Deadpool, he was like this fighting machine. And I guess in the Daniel Way era, he became kind of bad at his job. He became actually goofy and not like super good at fighting, which is one of the reasons I really didn't like that era.
Right.
But this is a guy who can take on Sabretooth, Wolverine, stuff like that. Yeah, I don't. Wolverine, it goes here and there. Whoever wins, it depends. I feel like if Iron Fist has quote unquote No, not Iron Fist. I feel like if Deadpool has quote-unquote prep time, he usually gets the edge over Wolverine. But, I do like seeing Deadpool fight other heavy hitters. Although his win streak against Iron Fist is nil. But, something for Daddy. So yeah, Daddy's like, you're here to kill Gingo. And then we get some backstory. Which is a cool backstory.
Danny explains who he is, yeah.
Yeah, so he's this ageless enemy of Kunlun and an escapee of the 8th City. And if anyone doesn't know what the 8th City is, it's essentially like the prison cell for the for the heavenly realms. They just throw all their garbage and prisoners in there.
It's like the negative zone for the Immortal City.
Yeah. But actually, I really like the 8th City arc.
Yeah, me too. I think there's a lot of interesting stories that could be told about it as well.
Oh, tell me about it, right?
Yeah, right? That's one that's welcome to be delved into.
It's funny because there's so much material in Immortal Iron Fist that was set up specifically for other writers to do stuff with, and
no one's done it yet. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really disappointing. And Iron Fist is in
limbo
Ed
Brisson
right
did
now.
some. Like
he did. Yeah.
Brisson
did some. Kerry Andrews did a little bit. He more did his own thing, but his own thing was new. So
yeah, that was fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, Iron Fist wants to take him prisoner.
A lot here.
He is. I don't mind though.
I don't mind. I never mind. I'm not I'm not a purist about that kind of stuff. It doesn't bother me. It's just like, it seems it's dramatic and it's fun, and why not?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like, this is just in like a team up one shot, and it's just showing off. Hey, Iron Fist has these fists,
And maybe he had a good rest beforehand.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, he's way more powerful at this point anyway. He can probably use them as much as he wants. Yeah, so I really like this backstory, and I think it's this really cool flashback panel of this dude, like building an axe and a mace. It's beautiful
colouring as well.
Yeah.
It just sort of switches to all sort of orange tones to show past and stuff like that, and then we go back to the sort of bright greens and reds and snowiness.
So he's pretty much just kind of Genghis Khan figure minus the horses and stuff.
Yeah.
And it doesn't explain it, which I like. It's basically whenever he got killed in combat, he just reincarnates somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you don't need to explain everything.
No, you just need enough.
Yeah, and the mystery is good. Like it helps with the world building that there's just dudes like this running around that Iron Fist has to take care of. Who knows what else is in the 8th City? But, so one of the previous Iron Fists had to contain him. Which is cool.
But in the end, Deadpool's like, well, let's team up and I'll split the money.
Yeah.
Not split the money. Let's work together.
Stay
friends.
I really like when Deadpool's like, hey, I don't care. I'm just going to kill him anyway. And then you see Iron Fist just...
go full on...
roll his intimidation check.
Yeah. Full of Kirby dots and Deadpool backs down because he's not an idiot.
Yeah, I really like Danny in this. He feels a lot more like Danny than, as he said, the quippy kind of.
Yeah, and Danny's being very practical here because he's like, I'd be a fool to let you out of my sight. Yeah. Like, it's not that he necessarily wants to have Deadpool along, but he realizes what a loose cannon Deadpool is, and that is a sensible thing.
Oh yeah.
So if you've got Deadpool in play, you stay with him.
And I love how Deadpool thinks he's thinking these thoughts, and he's just voicing like...
I love that when it's you said it out loud.
He's like, hey. I think Iron Fist probably knows that Deadpool's going to try to kill him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But then Danny's like going, oh, he's down in the fortress below. We'll have to be careful and climb down. And you just see Deadpool starting his run up.
Yep.
Launches himself off the side of the mountain, and Danny follows him.
He's like, stealth.
Yeah, Danny follows gracefully and not head first through a roof.
I really love the reaction. Did a man dressed in red just kill himself by falling out of the sky? In this remote bloody stronghold.
And they still get in the little, I think it was Spider-Man joke.
Yeah.
Which is cute.
Yeah. And then Deadpool's like, I heard that Iron Fist is, you guys are going to pay for that one. Oh, actually, I just got the joke. Never mind. Because I was like, what, is he going to pay for Deadpool launching himself through the thing? But I realized he was referencing the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So we get a very abrupt skip in
I love
time
it, though.
here.
36 minutes of horrific yet utterly enjoyable karate violence later.
Which, honestly, I would have loved to have seen. But
I knew you were
we
going to say that. I was like, when I'm talking about this comic, I'll be like, God, I wish we'd got a whole comic of that fight. But I appreciate they want to move the story along.
Oh, yeah,
so
they only have...
it's the what, and mostly because we got some good fighting before.
Yeah.
And we get some good fighting afterwards. That is like, it's okay, we don't need to see them. We don't need to see these two super powerful super fighters go through goons.
We don't need to, but we want to.
It would have been nice to see a little bit, yeah.
It is a one issue though, and it's not even extra size, so
Yeah.
I'd give him a pass. It's a funny way to do it.
Yeah.
But I love this warlord.
Yeah, he's great.
He's imposing, and he's got a cool sword.
He's in his throne room.
Yeah, and he's got one of the Black Tongue, one of the 13 cursed blades.
Which, of course, Deadpool rushes forward towards.
Yes, yeah, he just rushes forward to kill him.
And gets slashed across the stomach.
Yeah, which is, you think he's kind of dead for now.
Yeah.
Then Iron Fist squares up to fight with him, and then Deadpool comes back because he's like, hey, I've got a healing factor, but it's really slow because of the blade, I think.
Yeah, I think it is the blade, because Danny actually points out he's still bleeding.
Yeah. And then a bunch of... these guys come in.
Yeah, so they're basically getting ready for the fight, and there's an explosion and a big hole in the wall, and these guys come in.
Actually, I'd be remiss to say that if that wasn't a really cool panel of Danny, that big one.
Yeah, it's really
where he's like, I'm the immortal Iron Fist.
Thighs.
Yeah, very chunky thighs, actually. He's not skipping leg day, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How many squats do they do in Kunlun?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
To be fair, they don't do much but train.
That's true. That's pretty much their whole life.
Yeah.
And getting angry at women and foreigners.
Yeah, why
not? So, yeah, the guys who hired Deadpool come in with like a squad of their own.
Yeah, they basically tracked him.
Yeah, and they're like, he's actually still alive.
Get their own revenge.
Yeah.
So then I love this page. Then you get like Danny and Deadpool back to back talking about it all. And Deadpool sort of saying, I'll take the big guy, you take the others. And Danny's like, no. Basically because, the sword isn't going to kill him, whereas it would kill Danny, which is a sensible comment.
Yeah.
And then we get one of my all-time favourite Iron Fist Deadpool panels, where Danny says, go get him, Spidey.
Yeah.
Which is exactly the kind of quip I don't mind from him.
Yeah, because it's kind of the first quip he's made.
Yeah, it's like, what? Exactly. It's like one or two per issue, and it's kind of funny, and it's not said jokey like Spider-Man would say it.
Yeah.
It's a little dig. Like, yeah, maybe to rile up Deadpool, who knows, but it's also within the context of the thing, very funny. Especially as Deadpool's been riling him about his slippers. It's something you'd do to a friend.
Yeah, it's affectionate
teasing.
What I
like.
Yeah. And we get a really awesome panel where Iron Fist takes on the Mercs and Deadpool takes on the Warlord, who's huge.
Splash page. Yeah, he's enormous.
Like, he's twice the size of an actual person.
Yeah, like, I was like, did he suddenly grow? And I was like, no, you just don't see when he's sitting down that he's, like, huge.
Yeah.
But yes, it's an amazing splash page of a fight.
Yeah, so Deadpool briefly fights him, but is outclassed, because this guy is, as he says, he's been killing for centuries, so...
And he just slashes Deadpool up a bit. So
and Deadpool's coming apart, which was pretty gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see how big this dude is when the I think the son is like going up to him.
Yeah, and you can see him. What I really like about the art is you can see him shaking with his gun, like in that panel where they're sort of standing off.
Yeah, yeah,
His
you
dad's like
can.
going, kill him, and you can see they've drawn in the sort of shake lines of the gun.
Yeah. It's like he's up against a Rob Liefeld drawing. All of
Yeah,
a sudden. This huge guy. So
and then
Deadpool,
gets back up.
yeah, he challenges the Warlord. Um, and so Deadpool has a plan, which is to get impaled
Yeah,
so that his sword is locked in Deadpool while Iron Fist can
Can attack.
jump off his back and take him out
Yeah.
with, well, the Iron Fist.
It's super well done.
It's a really nice sequence, yeah. Like
And
this,
again, the sword ploughing in has some amazing lettering work.
what I described takes course over like 2 pages.
Yeah. And the coloring's great. It's all like red when Deadpool's being stabbed, and then you go back to the multicolor. Then you just see like Iron Fist's. You just see Danny's foot on Deadpool's shoulder,
Yeah.
and then he goes woo, and then a boom. Again, fantastic action coloring following the fist.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
And knocks him out.
so, you know, Iron Fist goes up to the family and
So-
he's like, you know,
yeah.
hey, stop it. You know, endless cycle of hate, violence, blah, blah, blah. Because the dad's pretty intent on just tracking down this warlord again. And Iron Fist is just like, it's going to result in more death. He needs to stay locked up. And then Deadpool chimes in on his opinion of revenge.
Yeah.
Which is like, you start killing, and then you just don't stop killing.
Which I thought was actually quite interesting because
Oh,
you
it
don't
was,
often
yeah.
like he's kind of backing Danny up that revenge isn't the way,
Yeah, I mean,
which is
Deadpool...
not something you'd normally, not always bet on Deadpool saying,
Yeah.
because it's not quippy, it's not funny. He's just basically saying, yeah, you at a certain point, killing's all you have.
In this era, in a one-shot no less, the fact that Deadpool is serious was a very nice thing to read, because it was very
Yeah.
rare in those days. But, you know, Deadpool knows his life is terrible.
Yeah.
He's done horrible things. And, yeah, he's just like, you know, don't do it. And, like, he has, like, a big speech and stuff about it, too. And then he goes up to the guy and he's like, hey, you still got to pay me. You double-crosser.
Yeah.
So he threatens him to giving him 70% plus expenses, and I won't kill you, pretty much.
And the guy's like, okay.
Yeah. And then he just, like, walks off, and Iron Fist is like, hey. And he just keeps walking off, and, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of depressed, I guess. He just leaves.
It does, yeah, it reads kind of, and you see Danny watch him leave in the snow as he says, go team.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe just the whole thing got Deadpool down. Or, you know, people always generally treat him like crap after team-ups as well.
Yeah.
So he's just leaving because he's wallowing in self-pity, I guess. Which is a very Deadpool thing to do. But it's a good ending.
It is.
It ends
It
on
is
a
a good
nice, like, sad tone, I guess, which is good for a Deadpool
I guess
story.
with a limited number of pages, it's nice we got so many of them of the other fight and the other stuff, so that it doesn't matter that it feels a very abrupt end.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's my thoughts on that. I mean, because it does feel abrupt. You're like, oh, the nice thing is, like, you finish it and you're like, I could read loads more of these two. And that's probably, like, really what a team up should be.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really nice example of that. Like, they work well. I like the vibe. It's different from when they team up with other people. Like, there's
Yeah.
something unique about this team up.
Yeah.
And I'd like to read more of them. And honestly, I genuinely enjoy pretty much every one of their team ups. So,
They're all good.
I think
yeah.
they're characters that do seem to work very well together for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Deadpool seems to thrive in a mystical kung fu kind of.
Yeah, it
with
gives them
Iron
that
Fist.
kind of that heroic thing that he seems to like, but it doesn't feel part of.
Yeah.
And Danny's quite good at knowing what it doesn't feel like to be part of something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, agreed. And yeah, this is something that, I'd see more of these two. And we do. Later on, we have like a couple of team ups with them and Luke.
Yeah.
Who Luke was.
And then there's another one in later as well, where there's all like he goes to fight Iron Fist over some old grudge, and they end up not really fighting. It's quite sweet.
And from an Iron Fist perspective, this is good as well, because it just has him going on a pretty straightforward mission to take out, this agent. It's just like he just gets to some good old martial arts action, in a cool setting, cool villain.
Reason for him to be there is that it's the relation to Kunlun. Doesn't feel that forced. Yeah.
So it works as an Iron Fist story as well.
Plus he gets to make his little thing about revenge, which is something he knows about.
Yeah.
So it works really well. I'd forgotten how much I love it's a joyful issue.
Yeah.
It's like one of those comics that you read it and you think it works well, and I really enjoyed it. So
yeah.
Fully recommend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
a good pick considering we've had a bit of a break. So
yeah. I was just because I really wanted to do something this weekend, and I'm like, well, what can we cover? I'm like, hey, this issue exists.
No, that's great because I was like, obviously, I don't know what I would have picked, so it's kind of nice.
Well, it's hard with Iron Fist because he doesn't have heaps of standalone.
Unfortunately, more please.
Yes, a Marvel. Just because he doesn't have a TV show, you can still make comics about him.
I'm sure we will sometime. Somebody was saying that, it's about time. Like, we haven't seen a lot of the street level characters while they're sort of resetting things a little bit. In terms of the X-Men and in terms of Marvel Cosmic, like a lot of things going very cosmic at the moment.
Right.
So, but hopefully, he might be. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they're involved at all in the King in Black, because that's supposed to, that's coming in like December, and that's the sort of Venom stuff that is supposed to affect the whole Marvel universe. So, it'll be interesting to see if we get on. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Nah, but this one more so because the last, Empire was very much cosmic,
right?
Because the Skree and Krulls. So even if some of it took place on Earth, it was pretty much cosmic. And the next big event is an X-Men one.
Yeah.
So so it'll be interesting to see if any of the more street level characters sort of show up.
It'd be nice. I guess we had Contagion, which is the most recent one, which ended up, not being great at the end. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. Good issue. Yeah, not much else to add, really.
No, I mean, it's pretty straightforwardly just a good issue. So.
If I was writing Iron Fist, I'd probably bring back Gingo or whatever.
Yeah, I'd definitely go back to the 8th City and investigate that.
13 Cursed Swords is another thing. Could be cool. Lots of little things there. So, yeah. Well, I guess this is a short episode, but, we just wanted to get something out. So, unless you have anything to add, I guess we'll sign off.
No, definitely. Send us your thoughts about Iron Fist 7475.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and about this issue as well. I know Phil wanted to send thoughts in, but I don't think he was able to in time, but we'll read out your thoughts next episode on this team-up. Because he runs a Deadpool podcast called Wade's World, I think, and I'll put a link in the show notes. Until next time, may your fist become unto a thing of iron and track down those escaped 8th City prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Iron Fist and all other characters in these comics are properties of Marvel and Disney. Any music or images we use belong to their respective copyright holders. We do this for fun, so please don't sue us. You can contact us at sonsofthedragonpodcast@gmail.com. Just send us mail, comments, thoughts, anything you want really. It doesn't even have to be related to Iron Fist. If you don't want it read on the air though, make sure you mention that. You can also find us on Facebook, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast, Sons of the Dragon, our Twitter, at Iron Fist Podcast, our SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Sons of the Dragon, hyphens where the spaces are, our YouTube, Connor Carl, just search Iron Fist Podcast and you'll find us real quick. We are also on iTunes. If you find us there, give us a review and rate us. If it's less than 5 stars, please say why so we can improve the show. And we're on Podcast Garden in the literature section, and last but not least, head over to our WordPress, Sons of the Dragon, the Immortal Iron Fist Podcast.wordpress.com. That's where I put all the show notes. I'd like to thank Thomas Tissot for composing the Iron Fist theme song we use at the start of our Iron Fist episodes on the podcast. I'd also like to thank Peter John Sikosky for composing the Power Man and Iron Fist theme we use at the start of our Power Man and Iron Fist episodes. And finally, thanks to you guys for listening.